Good evening, I'm Scott Koral. Thanks for joining us for News 12 Now at 11. 7 years ago today, 5 servicemen in Chattanooga were gunned down in a case of domestic terrorism. The city had its heart broken. We begin with breaking news. People are saying 4 people are dead after another mass shooting at a mall in the south suburbs of Indianapolis. Any of us who knows a teenager understands that they know social media far better than most adults. In the case of Melissa Blair, the McMinn County School District monitors what's being said on social media, but one app made it hard for the district to find out what was up. So how would the superintendent find out about this? Snail mail. At the end of every school year, most school superintendents write a letter of appreciation to their educators. Dr. Justin Robertson, in this case, no different. But today's letter had one more reason, and it has to do with the governor and his lack of standing behind teachers when a leading educator made controversial statements about them in Governor Bill Lee's presidency. When Celeste Murphy was confirmed as Chattanooga's chief of police, she told News 12 that the deadly shooting on Grove Street was one of her top priorities. That crime was unsolved then, and it remains unsolved 3 months later. Crime data from the FBI and sorted by CBS News shows that the clearance rate in Tennessee is at its lowest point in 20 years, 40%. Here in Chattanooga, one of those still unsolved eats at the craw of the lead investigator of the Grove Street shooting that killed 2 women and injured 5 others. 3.5 months ago, I did a story about the city looking for $21 million to help start the cleanup of the old Wheel and Foundry site, to build new green spaces for a new stadium for the Lookouts. The city asked the state government to help, but to no avail. So the city went higher. The EPA is making this brown field and others in the city the same color as cash, green. The database of alleged offenders is quite long. 206 pages worth of church leaders the Southern Baptist Convention investigated and learned were accused of sexual allegations. 2 incidents were local, but neither was recent. The earliest happened at Central Baptist Church in Hickson back in 1989, and the church rebranded as Abba's House. The amount of money it takes to make the sign and have it put up will be the difference between whether this is a misdemeanor or a felony, according to Major Jerry Sutton of the Chattanooga Police Department. Since he's skeptical, News 12 asked Weston Wamp how he would approach the project if he were to become mayor. He told us he intends to be, quote, a good steward of taxpayer dollars, and he feels there are a lot of questions around that project that still need to be answered. The pandemic continues to affect most of us, and that includes businesses. But for one company in North Georgia, the pandemic never slowed things down. Not one bit. And you might be surprised to hear what they sell. That's what News 12's Dave Staley tells us in tonight's edition of More to the Story with Staley. A recent Associated Press poll shows 1/3 of all Americans believe the country is targeting white males and replacing them with people of other races or religions. It's a theory that has a population growing in number, volume, and violence. Every Town for Gun Safety says there have been 77 gun incidents on school grounds this year, resulting in 14 deaths. Then came yesterday in Uvalde, Texas. 19 children, 2 adults, dead. It sent shockwaves throughout the U.S., and Hamilton County was no exception. Boy, it's going to be a hot one this week, so if you see me sweaty, now you know why. Thanks for joining us on News 12 Now at 11. Exactly. It's the dark side of the 90s. Happy 4th, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow.